going to start getting you through the site and maybe thinking about it from the point of view of somebody who's not been on the site before. So we've got a very basic Get Started button. And if you press that, you see that you can start to find resources that suit you. So if I click on support for line managers, colleagues and staff, you can think about the kind of sector you're working in. So let's just say, for sake of argument, I work in finance, and you'll see, just before I go on, you'll see that there's a kind of number of resources that started with about just over 160, and we're now down to about 100. And this gives you a sense about the kind of workplace you might be in. So let's say I'm working in finance, I'm working in an office-based type environment. And as you can see, there's very specific materials for HR professionals. So I'm an HR professional, and let's say I'm working in a medium-sized business. So this is the great thing about the site. I mean, it kind of allows you to filter very quickly the kind of things that you might find useful. And so in the sections of resources, you just worth having a look at, first of all, these toolkits, which are things that which we're featuring, if you like. We're particularly identifying issues that we know are particularly relevant for the particular sector that we're looking in. So here you'll see in this toolkit, in this set of toolkits, we've got something about workload and stress, because we know that's a big issue in the financial sector. The City Mental Health Alliance is a network of city organisations that have produced a guide to how you support yourself at work. And then if you want to go down and look at the variety of resources that are available, you'll see the kind of training that's available, the kind of support that you can get from different organisations. Each entry has got a little brief summary about what the material is, and you can find out a bit more about it by reading more. You can also see that it tells you immediately whether it's a something you have to pay for, or something you can have just for free. And then the other thing to point out is you can see that these materials are being rated by people who visit the site. So the listing is ordered by the kind of thumbs up resources that people have found useful, and when you're in a resource, you can rate it for the rest of the site. So that just kind of gives you a basic idea about how the site works. And then in addition to that, we've got a few kind of more specific features up at the top of the material, at the top of the bar. So we've got some toolkits that look at particular aspects of work that you might be interested in. So for example, here you'll see there's some podcasts. So in fact, Chris, I suspect we might
nice
post this podcast in a beautiful circular perfection. We're also very interested at the moment, for example, also in thinking about how organisations can show their commitment to mental workplace well-being, and you can go into that toolkit, for example, and just give you a sense of what the kinds of materials and the kind of organisations that are offering programmes that can help. And I mentioned the Time to Change campaign a minute ago, so there's an example of their free resource that you can get access to. We're also building a set of case studies where different organisations are talking about the work that they've done. So it's our first case study that's been posted at the moment, and Alison Garbett is the head of strategic projects at WH Smith, and so she kind of talks about writes about her experiences of what she's done in her business at a very well-known high street retailer, and not always easy doing mental health in retail settings. So this gives you a flavour for what they've done.
That's great. And
then we're also encouraging posting a number of blog pieces. So I'm very much hoping, Tim, that we might have one from you soon. We've got this week's featured blog is from Mike Cherry, who's the national chairman of the Federation of Small Businesses, and he's written a very interesting piece actually about what do you do when you're small, running a small business, like you are now, Chris. But also he talks quite openly here about his own father's experience of depression, and talking a little bit about what he thinks the FSB is doing and what they can do to help, and again signpost people to resources for smaller businesses. And then if we go back briefly to the top of the site, but in fact mainly on most pages, you can just to note that right at the bottom you can sign up to regular updates, and I really encourage people to do this. This is a site which is rapidly growing in terms of the materials. And as I said earlier, we're really hoping that people will share materials with each other, because nobody's got a monopoly on what's perfect here.
I love that that's the focus, by the way, Paul, that you're allowing people to contribute. I think that's a very important part of it. That's great.
Yeah, it's really important. I think it's really important. And actually the spirit of this whole piece of work, and you'll see actually next to the sign up page, where we really hope people will sign up, is the kind of explanation about how this works. So we see ourselves as simply as the curator of this site, and if you click on our partners, you'll see a really impressive list of organizations who have brought their skills and expertise into this work, and we absolutely couldn't have done it without them. This is a really truly collaborative exercise, and you'll see folk from the business sector, the public sector, small business, charities, and organisations who have really helped us out, including people like the Health and Safety Executive and ACAS, who have really helped in terms of shaping this site. So, that's a very quick run through what it looks like. I would really love people to have a good look around, download resources, and also please do give us feedback. So there's a feedback loop. We know we won't have got this perfect. And just finally to say, you can also set up an account for yourself, just using your an email and setting a password. That enables you to store materials those resources that you've already identified. So it means you don't have to go back to the site again and again. You can just use the materials that you've already identified that you think might be useful. So that's about it, really.
Fantastic. And just one question I had on my end. So in terms of, you said there's some paid content. Is there a subscription of sorts, or is it really one-off purchases for each of the individual pieces of content? Just for everyone listening, I'm sure.
That's a good question. No, the resources are, in a sense, everything that's on the site, all the materials on the site is free, but we signpost out of the site into different organisations.
I'm with you.
There are obviously organisations who charge for some of their materials, and so you'd have to go through that organisation to sign up. And I think in the main, to be honest, the bulk of the resources that you have to pay for are kind of training type resources. So it's the kind of thing you'd expect,
Fair enough. I understand. I just want to make sure we clarified that for everyone.
Yeah, no, so that's very important. We know how tight HR budgets are.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, look, thank you so much for giving us an overview of this. As I mentioned, this is going to be posted on LinkedIn for everyone. So anyone who's listening right now is probably on LinkedIn. And for everyone listening on LinkedIn, you guys can see the link to the website, but I'll put that in the description for you. And if you've got any questions or would like to support what Paul's doing, please get in contact with Paul. What's the best contact for you, Paul?
Yeah, I think the best thing to do is contact me via LinkedIn.
Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and share so that others can benefit from the great knowledge and experience. See you tomorrow.